Delegates, please turn on your cameras. We will start now, being 2:04 Mexico time, 3:04 Canada time, with the roll call. When you hear your delegation's name, please say present and voting. Afghanistan. Argentina.
Sorry, Afghanistan is here, present and voting.
Australia.
Present and voting. Australia is present and voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Azerbaijan.
Present and voting.
Belarus. Brazilian Portuguese Confederation.
Present and voting.
Chile.
The delegation of Chile is present and voting.
Thank you, Delegate. China.
Present and voting.
Egypt.
Present and voting.
Sorry, North Korea.
Present and voting.
France.
Present and voting.
Germany.
Present and voting.
India.
Present and voting.
Iran.
Present and voting.
Israel. Italy.
Present and voting.
Japan.
Present and voting.
Kazakhstan.
Chair, the delegation of Argentina is present and voting.
Kazakhstan, Mexico. Republic of Korea.
Present and voting.
Russian Federation. Spain.
Present and voting.
South Africa.
Present and voting.
Sweden. Syria. United Kingdom. United States. And was not on the list, Colombia.
No, it wasn't. Present and voting.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates,
Okay, is present and voting.
Delegates, please pay attention for when we say your delegation.
Delegates, we have a crisis. Bad news. We have just received information all over the globe that some cities are under attack. These 5 cities are Pyongyang, Seoul, Berlin, Madrid, and Paris. We will be playing some news footage right now, which shows the damage.
Breaking news, giants are attacking our cities. This is not a joke, giants are attacking our cities. The 5 cities.
Remember me? Well, you ought to, after we tore apart your cities. Well, we made our first move, and now it's your turn. For every 2 nations that decide to adopt Ares 29 into their militaries, we will cease attack in 1 of 5 cities. If not, well, try to keep up with us with your regular armies. Your move?
Crisis Director, your silence.
Delegates, we have been hacked. Our meeting has been hacked. Oh, okay. Us crisis directors will handle with the tech stuff. Although we do advise you to look into this organization. We have reason to believe that something sketchy is happening with the Titans. It is weird that they insisted on the military adoption of Ares 29, and it might be something you want to look into. We will be entertaining questions right now. France.
Point of information.
Yes.
So what the Titans would like us to do is to implement the Ares 29 into our military.
Yes. They stated that for every 2 nations that decides to adopt Ares 29, one of the attacks in the 5 cities mentioned will be stopped.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. So North Korea.
Yes, I have a question. Well, those Pyongyang was mentioned as one of the cities that they attack.
Yes.
Is there any response from part of the North Korean army?
Well, the attack just happened, so we don't have any information about that.
Okay, thank you.
Spain.
Yeah, the delegation of Spain wants to know if the weapons that were put in the perimeters of the countries and the control points were did anything to the Titan attack, or it was just futile.
Well, as I said, the event just happened. The weapons, I believe, have not been deployed. You guys will be making the orders to deploy the projectiles you mentioned.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Delegate. China.
Which were the 5 cities that were attacked?
So the cities that were under attack are Pyongyang, which is in North Korea, Seoul, which is in South Korea, Berlin in Germany, Madrid in Spain, and Paris in France. Does that answer your question, Delegate?
Yes.
South Korea.
You mentioned that for every 2 countries that adopt the Serum Ares 29, the attacks on one of the cities would cease. Will the cities be chosen randomly or objectively? How are they going to be chosen?
It was not stated in the video whether the choice of city is random or there is a certain pattern to it. So we can presume that it is random. Yes, Germany?
Do we know if they are asking like exactly what they exactly want from our military, or if they want to control it or something like that?
Well, according to the video, they only said that they wanted countries to adopt Ares 29 into their militaries, meaning that soldiers would have to undergo the Ares 29 injection process. Does that answer your question, Delegate?
Yes, thank you.
South Korea?
Is there any possibility of a country to negotiate with the Titans?
Delegate, that would be dependent on your crisis notes. You would have to negotiate with the Titans themselves. We can delegate that message to the organization. Yes, Spain?
Yes, have there been any casualties reported?
Casualties. So according to the video, we can see that some buildings have been demolished in the area. And of course, with that severe damage, there definitely would be casualties. The casualty reports has not been mentioned yet, although countries and cities have been scrambling to try to figure out the amount of damage that was done to the locations. Does that answer your question?
Thanks.
Paola? All right.
Yes, thank you.
Is there more questions on the floor? Seeing none, I will pass the time back to our chair.
Thank you, Crisis Director. Delegates, the floor is open. Are there any points on the floor? Motions, sorry. Delegation of North Korea.
Motion of procedure.
Established.
Motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus.
The chair suggests first a motion of procedure to open the session.
Sorry. Motion of procedure to open the session.
Delegates, the delegation of North Korea has started a motion of procedure to open the session. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. Delegates, the floor is open. Are there any motions on the floor? Delegation of France?
Motion to start the moderated caucus.
Off topic?
The RS 29 as a utility for our military,
Duration?
as much as the chair recommends.
The chair recommends 15 minutes. Individual speaking time?
1 minute.
Delegate, what was the complete topic?
The RS 29 as a utility for the military.
Thank you, delegate. Delegates, we have 2 more motions. Are there any motions on the floor? Spain?
Yeah, motion of procedure.
Established.
Motion of procedure to start the moderated caucus regarding the topic of the attack of Titans on the countries previously mentioned.
The attack on Titans? What?
Of Titans, yeah, on the countries
Sorry.
on the countries previously mentioned.
Okay. Duration?
As long as the chair recommends.
15 minutes. And
15 minutes.
individual speaking time?
45 seconds.
Delegates, we have 1 more motion available. Are there any motions on the floor? Being no motions on the floor, we will proceed with the voting. First, the RS 29 as a utility for the military. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. France, do you wish to be first or last?
First.
Any delegates who wants to be added to the speakers list, please raise your hand. South Korea? Spain? Germany? And China. Any other delegation who wishes to be added? Being no more delegations, we will proceed. France, the floor is yours.
The delegation of France notes that the Titans want us to use the RS 29 for our military, and will attack us if the committee doesn't do so. Additionally, the delegate of France would like to state that the delegate of France is open to the investigation of the ARS-29 on the military. However, it does not support it if the humans stops having a decision for itself and stops thinking for themselves. Delegation of France would like to mitigate the attack as soon as possible, so any solution regarding that will be supported.
Thank you, Delegate. Republic of Korea.
The delegation of South Korea declares that in response to the previously stated facts given by the Titans, remains with his position against the use of the serum and will try to renegotiate with the terrorist group. In the meantime, the Republic of Korea implores the rest of delegations to seek other solutions. And as an example, or as a own solution, the Republic of Korea offers to the rest of the delegations to sign a treaty of peace, because without a war, we won't need soldiers, and without soldiers, there won't be a need for a serum. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Spain.
Yes, Spain wants to ask for aid to members of the NATO and also allies, political and economical allies of Spain. Now, the terrorist group has made their point clear. They want the inclusion of ARS-29 serum, and if well, there is no easy way out. What has to be done, we have to do what has to be done as a committee. Now, Spain proposes start deploying its own and shared defense units while investigating the serum for a quick response or a way to stop the Titans. Any nation that wants to contribute is welcome and can join the coalition. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Germany.
The delegation of Germany will have to use the ARS-29 to try and stop the attacking to the Syria of Berlin, because the delegation is to keep our population safe. But it's asking the other delegations who are accepting to use ARS-29 to help these cities and China. Are you gonna use it? And talking about what Tim Rogers said, are they replacing our babies? Are they just implanting babies and we don't know where they are? So we gotta think about that too.
Thank you, Delegate. China.
To alliance conformed by Spain, Germany, etc., the Chinese delegation accepts their point of view, but China must say it does not agree at 100%, because the Chinese delegation considers that superhumans are something that can be totally controlled, and China has already started the investment and investigation of a mental chip to control superhumans. Scientists expect to be ready soon. Also, for the calm of all, China will not continue producing superhumans until total control of them is achieved. And answering to the delegation of Germany, the delegation of China wants to say that they are very sorry for Germany, France, and the other countries affected, but China won't use ARS-29 in their military troops because the delegation suspects this is an evil plan with some kind of trick. So the delegation of China will continue using their own serum.
Thank you, Delegate of China. Delegates, looks like we have more speaker space available. Any delegates wishes to be added to the speakers list? Please raise your hand. Delegate of China. Well, sorry, of Chile. United Kingdom. Australia. North Korea. Germany. South Korea. And Spain. Also delegate of France. Delegate of Chile, the floor is yours.
Delegates, this is a crisis. We need to act now. The delegation of Chile, joined by the delegations of Argentina and Colombia, proposed to use the ARES-29 serum in their own countries and their own military. This way, the Titans will stop their attacks in one city. And once they let their guard down and they stop attacking one city, our military power, enhanced by the ARES-29 serum, will give military aid to the other cities. This way, we can prevent more life being lost, more destruction being caused in these countries. We need to act now. And the delegations of Chile, Argentina, and Colombia are prepared to act. Are you delegates prepared to act and to save your own citizens?
Thank you, delegate. United Kingdom.
Well, as the world have seen before, this type of drugs like Perithine is often used by German armies on wars. This is not quite good. Why everyone needs to negotiate with this terrorist to get just an addition to this to get a peace? Because if we add this new implement to our soldiers, the only thing will happen is pain, because this is not good for health. There could be a possibility this is something not good for healthy. So just we need to accept this type of treat.
Thank you, delegate. Australia.
The delegation of the Commonwealth of Australia would like to invite other countries to don't use the ARES-29, since we can't not negotiate with terrorists, and we would like to ask for our European allies to disponibilize their researches about their supposed guns that could defeat the Titans. As long as we would like to invite all the countries around the world to participate in our trainings that we started doing since the beginning of this crisis, for them to have a knowledge on how to combat the Titans with the help of the guns from Europe. Thank you.
Thank you, delegate. North Korea, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, regarding the situation that is happening right now with the Titans, the North Korean Department of Defense already deployed the T-45 power armor in order to ensure the security of our citizens. We hope that the Titans will retreat in a peaceful way, and in case they will not, then we are going to use deadly force.
Thank you, delegate. Germany.
It looks like it is the only way that the delegation of Germany is aware. It is the only way to accept the ARES-29 for now. The delegation of Germany is aware of the possible consequences of using the serum, but the main goal of Germany is the well-being of their population. And if this means using the ARES-29, Germany will do it. In case this doesn't work and the Titans don't stop the attacks, the delegation of Germany hopes that the NATO and other countries give their total support on the country to solve this crisis that is affecting a big city like Berlin and other 4 cities and really important ones in the world.
Thank you, Germany. Republic of Korea.
After analyzing deeply the situation and taking into consideration the ideology and beliefs from South Korea, a decision has been made. And just like North Korea, the Republic of Korea will send task forces around the borders of Seoul and has called for an immediate evacuation for people living in Seoul. Hopefully the committee can reach an agreement or a solution without involving the use of the serum, and we can stop so that the committee can stop the terrorist attack.
Thank you, South Korea. Spain.
Yes, Spain called for the abstainment of using the serum since, well, it's very soon to start using and implying the serum, and no experimentation has been made. And all the experiments that have been made with serums or other clones of those have not been successful, have been total failures. And if the serum is employed, not only will put in risk the country's populations, but also the human rights of the subjects that are subjected to the effects of that serum. Spain is willing to share the weapons while it defends itself and also calls for help. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Legate. France.
As decreed by North Korea and Germany, the delegation of France will also start using the RS-29 on their military troops. Looking forward to stop the attack in Paris, civilians and the infrastructure. This is still on reversed, for example, and France will continue on investigating all the superhumans as well.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegate, we have space for another 3 delegates. Anyone who wishes to be added to the speakers list, please raise your hand. China, Chile, and there is room for 1 more. Okay, well, China.
The delegation of China applauds the courage of the countries of Chile, Argentina, and Colombia in taking the risk of using RS-29 in their armies to save other countries, but would like to warn the other countries that accepting the help of an army full of RS-29 is a dangerous move, and that is why China gives this country the option of receiving Chinese help with our own serum that is safer than RS-29 and has a mental chip in way.
Thank you, China. Chile, the floor is yours.
Delegates, thanks to the efforts made by the delegation of Chile, Colombia, and Argentina, Berlin has gratefully been saved, and we can save more cities. That's why the delegation of Chile encourages other delegations, mainly Germany, to start implementing the RS-29 serum in their military power. We already saved Berlin. We could save Paris, Seoul. We just need a little more effort. At the moment, we only need 1 more country to join us in order to solve another city. Delegates, think on your populations, think on your citizens.
Yes, the delegate of Germany.
To be added to the speakers list?
Okay, well, wait until we tell you to, but it's in order. Germany, the floor is yours.
Thank you to the delegation of Chile, to Colombia and Argentina. Thanks to them, Berlin has successfully been, yes. So the delegation will accept the RS-29. So it will just, if I'm not wrong, if the delegation is not wrong, France accept it too. So we will be able to help another city, and we hope that other countries think about this, because we need to be fast.
Thank you, Germany. Delegates, we have 1 more minute for another speaker. Delegation of North Korea.
Yes. Well, most of the countries are willing to use the ARIS-29. However, North Korea will maintain against that because this type of serum will create more problems than solutions. So we are just want to remember that we have nuclear weapons, and we're going to use them in case they continue implementing this type of serum. Thank you.
Thank you. We have a minute exact for another delegate. Any delegate who wishes to speak? Egypt.
In response to the delegation of Chile and the other delegations that were with him, the delegation of Argentina and delegation of Colombia, you use the serum ARS-29 to your citizens or to your military citizens. How can the other delegations, like the delegation of Egypt, make sure that those military citizens or your militaries are in a good state? Talking about a good mental state. How can the delegations be sure that those titans can be against the same delegation that they put the serum? Thanks.
Thank you, delegate. Delegates, being 20 seconds left on the moderated caucus, there is not enough time for another delegate to speak. So we will now end it. And delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? Egypt?
No point, sorry.
Okay, please lower your hand. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? The chair recommends another moderated caucus of 10 minutes. So with an individual speaking time of 30 seconds. Spain?
Spain makes a motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus for 10 minutes with the topic, well, regarding the attack of Titans on the countries previously mentioned. And 30 seconds of individual speaking time.
Delegates, before we continue with the voting, there is space for another 2 motions of procedure. The floor is open. Is another motion on the floor? Being no motions, we will proceed with the voting. The delegation of Spain has started a motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus on the topic, the attack of Titans on countries previously mentioned. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes, and the chair wants to remind all of the delegates who have or who haven't or didn't vote that you are here and you said present and voting, so it's important that all of you vote. Said that, the motion clearly passes. Spain, do you wish to be first or last?
Last, please.
Okay. Delegates, any delegation who wants to speak, please raise your hand. Egypt? France? And Spain. Egypt, the floor is yours.
The delegation of Egypt wants to ask to the delegation to Colombia and delegation of Argentina. What are the consequences that have when you put Ares 29 to your military? Have your cities came down because of that? Have your delegation having controlled those militaries with the serum?
Thank you, delegate. France?
Delegation of France would like to state that given us a delegation of France is now using the Air-39 in their military troops. The troops of the Titans in Paris, the delegation of France would like to
Delegate, your time is over.
Suggest that all the countries do this.
Thank you, delegate. Germany?
The delegation is aware of the ethical problems of talking about the usage of the serum in our military, but we are here talking about the lives of millions, not just Germany. We were talking of lives of the Korean people, of the French people. So, and we don't know if there's gonna be more attacks of the Titans.
Thank you, delegate. Spain?
Well, given the current situation and the future response that the protocol implemented by Spain and the defense not being successful, Spain resorts lastly to the implementation of this serum in just one subject, being isolated and controlled at all times. Thanks.
Thank you. Delegates, we have space left on the speakers list. Any delegations who wishes to be added, please raise your hand. Argentina?
Thanks, Chair. In response to what the delegation of Egypt asked, the delegations of Argentina, Chile, and Colombia believe that that is not relevant information to share. However, the delegations would like to make emphasis on that the delegations know how to take care of its own citizens. However, what are the delegations right now currently doing, such as Egypt, to take care of theirs? We have already saved Paris and Berlin. What have you done?
Thank you. Any more delegations who wishes to speak? France? China? France, the floor is yours.
Well, as mentioned by delegation of Argentina, the solution that has been the most effective as of now has been the implementation of the Ares-29 into the militaries of our countries. So my delegation, well, the delegation of France's question is, why are not all countries implementing this in their military?
Thank you, France. China, the floor is yours.
The Chinese delegation would like to ask the German and French delegations if they have anything in mind in case this is a trap of the Titans. The forum already knows that you have weapons capable of defeating these superhumans, but don't you think like this can go out of control and make some kind of catastrophe? And also, are you already carrying out some type of protocol or something? And
Delegate, your time is over. Delegations who wishes to be added to the speakers list, please raise your hand. China, France, Australia, China, the floor is yours. Spain,
retaking what the delegation of China was saying, the delegation of China wants to applaud Spain's caution in controlling the military with Ares 29. Also, perhaps that is not what the Titans want, and it will be a futile action.
thank you, China. Spain,
Yes.
sorry, your hand was up. It appeared that your hand was up, sorry.
Okay. No, yeah. No.
Okay, then we have France. France. Okay, proceeding, we will now go next with Australia.
The delegation of Australia would like to know what effects does the countries that applied the ARES 29 had already confirmed in their armies, and we would like to know if are some countries interested in some military alliances for us to can protect ourselves instead of collaborating with the terrorists. Thank you.
Thank you. Spain.
Yes. Spain asks more countries to join the efforts of using Ares 29 to stop the attacks, but in controlled spaces, so that if anything wrong happens in there will be a quick reaction and an easy way to stop a contingent or incident. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We have time for more speakers. France? Any other delegation? Please raise your hand. Germany? Okay. France, the floor is yours.
Well, given as the destruction of the Titans have not stopped in all cities, delegation of France would like to invite other delegations to implement the use of Ares 29 in their military, given as this has not seen it. We have not seen any disadvantages to this as of now.
Thank you, Delegate. Germany?
The delegation is not completely sure about how the Titans will react by controlling the Ares 29 soldiers that were injected, and we don't know if they are gonna respond in a bad way. As the delegation of China said, we don't know if the controlling them will be just battle. So for now, the delegation of Germany will just accept any request from the Titans.
Thank you, Delegate. Spain?
No.
Wait until the time is running. Delegate, the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks. Message from the committee has said that the weapons developed by the European coalition have been successful in harming the Titans. So Spain wants to use them and investigate further to make them even more deadly so that the menace can be deterrent, and also encourages other countries to use the serum in a controlled way so that more cities are saved. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. The time for this session is over. So the chair recommends a motion to close the session. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motions on the floor? Egypt?
Motion of procedure.
Establish?
Motion of procedure to close the session, the current
Delegate-
session.
Delegates, the delegation of Egypt has started a motion of procedure to close the session. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. We'll see you in 10 minutes, delegates. You're free to go. If you wish to hear feedback, we'll be here.
The delegation of France has a question.
Yes.
About the directives. If we as a delegation send a private directive, for example, saying that we are researching the RS-29 and a discovery has been made. Will this be published, or
Delegate, I believe I can answer that.
Will it remain private?
So, Delegate, are you able to hear me? I think he froze.
Yeah. Delegate, if you can hear us, please send a message through chat. I think it will be easier to answer that way.
Hi.
Okay. Any question? Spain?
Yes, if we want to know, like, the same thing as friends. When we like, if a delegation puts in a private directive, an interpretation, for example, like the Titans have been killed by the weapons used in that. It can pass like a fact, or it has to be how does it work?
So, most of the time we will pass it as a fact. However, if there is some involvement with how the crisis is going to go, then we might disapprove it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, Delegate.
Delegate of France? I believe your
Yes.
question wasn't answered. So,
Yes.
yeah, could you please reestablish?
If the delegation of France sends a private directive saying, for example, that a discovery has been made on the RS-29, what would be the response, for example? Like, how would that work?
So if you were to publish a crisis note or a private directive, the results are not announced. So that would be the case. Our advice is to first publish a crisis note and get our approval. Make that make the scenario a reality first, and then you can either publish it in a public directive or mention it in a moderated caucus and announce the fact that the solution is in fact real. So that would be how you would proceed with the information.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Delegate of France and Spain, you cannot be here. You have to exit. Thank you.
We're tired.
We have some infiltrations going on right now. So, well, Agnes, I sent you the why you are spotlighting me? It doesn't make sense. Well, that thing I already sent Santi the script for the last session. That thing that will happen. You know what is going to happen in the last session? Yeah.
The companies.
So Santi, Olvi, Mitch, are there any questions of what has happened? Sure.
Mario, can we add UK? Like just saying that the terrorist group has decided to attack the UK.
Yeah, sure. You can add it.
Because they don't respect the group, yeah.
They are not, yeah. We can say
Mario.
that. Okay, what happened?
What did you say about Santi, or what?
I was just asking if you three guys have any doubts of what happened before to make your statement, but actually they are just talking about the current situation, the current crisis. So I believe you don't have a doubt. Okay, yeah. Well, the thing I was going to say that we can make an update that the Titans are helping out Scotland to get their freedom from the United Kingdom. What do you think about it, Agnes?
Wow. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, Santiago, do you agree? Because you're the previous crisis director, and I respect your opinion.
Can you repeat it quickly? I didn't hear it like the complete thing.
So yep, Mario, go on. Yep.
The Titans are going to help out Scotland to get their freedom from the British Empire.
Because they have been disrespecting the Titans.
Yeah, they are disrespecting via Discord.
I feel disrespected.
The Titans. So now he's not going to have Scotland in the.
Who's United Kingdom?
I truly don't know. At least he's not from tech. I don't know his face.
But he's participating?
Yeah, he's like, actively participating.
Okay, why not?
Okay.
That sounds fun. Hey, but Chile, Colombia, and Argentina, I think next session will not be here. We need to check on our committees. We just wanted to come for a little while and make some mess.
So can we have your message right now, or do
you want it right? Like I can come in later, but to stay in the whole session, I am.
Well, yeah, we can wait. We can wait until
you told me.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. That was really fun, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming in.
You're welcome. Bye.
So they are coming now. I'm going to accept them, or yeah, missing 2 minutes. I want to present the delegates that are in the waiting room. Discord.
Yes. Sorry? Discord?
Hello, guys. Oh, there are a lot of people in the forum. How are you, Diego Rojo?
No bitches.
Delegates, please turn on your cameras. We will start now. Good afternoon, delegates. Hope you enjoyed your little break. We will proceed with the roll call. When you hear your delegation's name, please say present and voting. Afghanistan,
Present and voting.
Argentina, Armenia, Australia, delegation of Australia,
Present and voting.
Azerbaijan,
Present and voting.
Belarus, Brazilian Portuguese Confederation,
Present and voting.
Chile, China,
Present and voting.
Colombia, North Korea,
Present and voting.
Egypt,
Present and voting.
France,
Present and voting.
Germany,
Present and voting.
India,
Present and voting.
Iran,
Present and voting.
Italy,
Present and voting.
Japan,
Present and voting.
Kazakhstan, Mexico, Republic of Korea,
And then voting.
Russian Federation, South Africa,
Present and voting.
Spain,
Present and voting.
Sweden, Syria,
Present and voting.
Turkey, UK,
Present and voting.
USA. Okay.
So, delegates, there's a crisis. Breaking news, delegates. Due to the introduction of Ares 29 within Europe, the private companies that developed the European serum began to create a boycott, since they feel a lack of respect for the European Union to accept an American product and ban private companies from creating this serum instead of let them use them. So this has had an economic fallout in Europe and the world. And the economists are calling this right now the second economic Great Depression. Delegates, is there any questions about the topic? Delegate from the United Kingdom.
In what countries are affected by this Great Depression, economic depression?
The specific target is the European Union, since they banned the use of the private companies to create their serum. So therefore, the ones that are affected are the European Union. But as the European Union is an important member of the global economy, this affects every single delegate in this committee right now. If that answers your question, delegate.
Yes, it does.
Thank you. Delegate from North Korea.
What's the position of the United States talking about economical situation?
As the full corporation is part of the United States, the position of the United States is to support the idea that the American product is in every single place in the world.
Thank you.
Delegates, the chair, a quick reminder to change your name to your delegation's name so we can proceed correctly with the debate. Thank you.
Okay. So delegate from France.
Point of inquiry.
Established.
Delegation of France would like to know what is exactly the private sector trying to get from this? Like, what are they fighting for?
An economic compensation should be made from the European Union government to have an apology from the private sector of those countries. Did that answer your question, delegate?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, delegate. Delegation of Spain.
So were the boycott representatives asking for? Are they asking for a respect, an apology, a protocol? What are they asking?
The demands of these private companies to the European Union is not to accept any more American products between the country. And also they want an economic compensation because of that disrespectful action made by the government. Did that answer your question, delegate?
Follow up.
Established.
Which was the unconsidered actions of the European Union that led to this? It was the provision of human experimentation, right?
Yeah, as mentioned in plan by the European Union, they banned the use of the serum made by the private sector in France and Germany. But then they accept the American product. So that's the reason why this private sector is making this boycott.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, delegate. So delegates, is there any more questions on the floor? Seeing none, we are going to continue with the protocol. Thank you.
Thank you, Crisis Director. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? North Korea,
Motion of procedure.
establish.
Motion of procedure to open the session.
Delegates, the delegation of North Korea has started a motion of procedure to open the session. Votes in favor? Delegates, the chair wants to remind you that you should all vote. Votes against? The motion clearly passes. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? United Kingdom,
Motion of procedure.
establish.
Motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus of the time the chair recommends.
Of 15 minutes.
Motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus of 15 minutes with individual speaking time of 1 minute, with the topic open to commercial treatments.
Commercial treatments?
Yeah.
Okay. Delegates, when you propose a moderated caucus and the topic is long, to make it easier for the chair, please send it to the Vice Chair, Maria Gonzalez. That being said, there's space for another 2 motions. The floor is open. Is there another motion on the floor? Spain?
No, nothing. Spain put the hand up by accident.
Don't worry, delegate. Please check, delegates, that your hand is lower. Okay, being no more motions on the floor, we will proceed with the voting. Delegates, the delegation of United Kingdom has started a moderated caucus on the topic commercial treatments. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. Delegate of United Kingdom, does the delegation wishes to be first or last?
Last.
Okay. Delegates, of those delegations who wishes to be added to the speakers list, please raise your hand. Iran? China? France? Spain? North Korea? And then we have UK. Aaron, the floor is yours.
Because of the clashing ideologies that the delegation of Iran has with both Spain, France, and their coalitions, the delegation of Iran has decided to ally themselves economically with the delegation of North Korea in an attempt to boost both of their economies and their allies.
Thank you, delegate. Delegation of France, your hand was up.
Sorry, it was by accident.
Okay, don't worry. China?
The delegation of China would like to ask the delegation of Spain again What will happen if having an RS-29 control army is not accepted by the Titans and will not count to save other cities? Will the Spanish delegation agree to release their army? And also the delegation of China want remind their allies in case of these RS-29 armies getting out of control, China will be present and will be ready to help in a military or humanitarian, whatever you need. And finally, regarding to the economic crisis, China offers economical help in exchange for the guns anti-superhumans technology. Do we have a treat?
Thank you, Delegate. France?
The delegation of France would like to mention that the delegation of France believes that doing something about the private sector right now is urgent. In Europe, delegation of France would like to take out the ban that is currently on the RS-29 and create very strict restrictions in order for the private sector to be able to use it, but in a very safe and controlled way. Delegation of France would like to hear the opinion of other countries on this matter.
Thank you, Delegate. Spain?
Spain advocates for a press conference telling basically that the use of RS-29 was almost almost mandatory, and that the ban will be uplifted in Spain from the private companies with certain regulations. Spain also thanks China for the help and also wants to clarify the point. Spain has voluntary subjects in control conditions. If there is a negative reaction or something, Spain will stop in the implementation of RS-29 and instead will resort in its mechanical weapons. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. North Korea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, moderator. Well, all of these crises happen because all the European Union and most of the countries in this committee has accepted the ARIS-29. However, North Korea believes that the best thing to do is to reject that plan and stop producing it, because the only thing that has created is more chaos and more chaos around the globe. So it invites all the delegations to stop it and as well think about the future generations, about the kids, how they are going to be when they reach adulthood, and well, think about them, please.
Thank you, North Korea. United Kingdom?
As everyone in these committees have seen, the attacks are continuing if the West nations doesn't accept the use of this swearing. But by completely analyzing the past and this situation, the delegation of United Kingdom doesn't use this swearing. That's a definitely decision. So, well, as you know, we are just open to treatments in avoiding this, well, economic disgrace. As you know, the United Kingdom is one of the most biggest producer of vehicles parts. So, well, actually, you depend most on the United Kingdom.
Thank you, United Kingdom. Delegates, the chair wants to remind you for final time that any use of first person will be sanctioned, and the sanctions could be as little as taking participations away from you, to ban you from the session, to permanently from the committee. That being said, the chair wants to hear South Africa's opinion on China's proposal.
I would like for China to tell me more about the proposal.
Thank you, Delegate. Delegates, we have room for more speakers on the speakers list. Any delegation who wishes to be added, please raise your hand. France, South Korea, North Korea, China, and Spain. France, the floor is yours.
Well, as the delegation of France mentioned before, this economic crisis happening in specifically the economy of Europe is impacting all of delegations present in this committee. As well, to the delegation of the UK that mentioned that the economy of the UK would be more relevant to the committee, the delegation of France would like to note that the EU accounts for around 50% of the world's trade in goods, and that the United States, China, and EU are the three largest global players in international trade. So this crisis, this economic crisis happening in Europe should be our first priority right now.
Thank you, Delegate. Republic of Korea.
Should I start or once the time begins?
You may start. Well, wait, we have technical issues. Delegate, the floor is yours.
The delegation of South Korea agrees with France on the topic about the economic crisis being a top priority. But the Republic of Korea also thinks that the committee cannot make a decision without affecting the other issue at hand, which is the use, well, the terrorist attack. Because the only way we can stop this, the only way the committee can stop this crisis is if the committee decided to stop using the serum. But if the committee decides to stop using the serum, then more attacks will happen. So we need to find another way and some other solutions.
Thank you, South Korea. North Korea.
Yes, well, regarding what the delegate of France said about all of these crises affect us, well, yes, it's sure that it affects all the delegations. However, all of these happen because of France's fault and their allies. I just want to repeat again that all of you, when the Titans mentioned that you need to apply the ARES-29 serum in your country, you accept it easily. And now I'm glad, North Korea is glad that the United Kingdom has taken a good decision, because that is to stop the use of the serum of the ARES-29, and it hopes that more delegations follow that example.
Thank you. China.
The delegation of China thinks Spain misunderstood the question, so the delegation will reformulate it. The question is, what if having a control army with RS-29 isn't what the Titans want and decide to don't take into account Spain as a country who uses RS-29, making this action of having an army of RS-29 useless? And answering to the delegation of South Africa, in resume, what China proposes or thinks is that the use of RS-29 in the armies is a trap of the Titans, and the countries that decide to use the serum, China offers them help with our superhumans, which possesses another serum, a safe one. And finally, in the problem of economy, China can support Europe economically, but in exchange, China will have to receive the technology of the anti-superhuman arms. No, arms, no, guns, sorry.
Thank you, China. And Spain?
In the case that in the case of control army with RS-29 is useless, Spain will have to resort only to its defense mechanism and protocols. Also, Spain would like to remind Korea that Seoul is currently being attacked. No, that would remind Korea that there are a lot of lives in stake, and if Korea doesn't propose a solution that does not involve the use of a serum or something that can put an end to this problem, then to stop putting attention to the ideas said in this forum.
Thank you, Delegate.
Delegates, we have a crisis. Breaking news. The unity between the United Kingdom has been complicated because of the English. The English that have repressed the Irish, Welsh, and Scots on countless occasions. The Titans have supported the rebels of these three countries that make up the Union. After long battles waged by the rebels, the unity of the kingdom has come to an end. Now, England will be the country that will be referred from now on. And it is hoped that no repression similar to that caused by the British will occur in the future. In other news, a journalist of Afghan descent by the name Shaket Yagid has found a curious point in the Titans' thinking. They always work to further implement RS-29. Why? This question still has no answer, but the journalist has made a very worrying statement, and I quote, "The Titans are just false plan. It was always his plan. North Korea never had the serum before them. It was the Titans." It is very likely that the journalist was under the influence of drugs or something similar when pronouncing these words, but the real reasons are not known. Delegates, is there any questions regarding these two updates? Delegation of France.
May the first part of the crisis be repeated, as the delegation of France had some Wi-Fi difficulties?
Sure, Delegate. The unity of the United Kingdom has been complicated since the beginning of it. The English have repressed the Irish, Welsh, and Scots on countless occasions. The Titans have supported the rebels of these three countries that they make up the Union. After long battles waged by the rebels, the unity of the kingdom has come to an end. Now, England will be the country they will refer to from now on. It is hoped that no repression similar to that caused by the British will occur in the future.
Follow up?
Established.
Are there any response from civilians about this?
For the rebels who are civilians, in fact, Scots, Welsh, and North Irish civilians that rebelled against the British government. Only the English people remain between the country, but now on, there will be called as England itself. And from now on, the delegation of the United Kingdom should change its name to England and have this new Zoom background. Did the question was answered?
Yes, thank you.
So delegates, is there any more questions regarding these topics? Seeing none, we're going to proceed. The delegation of Afghanistan.
Yes, the journalist is still alive.
For the moment, he is still alive, and he is actually in Afghanistan. So anyone that wants to contact the journalist can do it. Delegation of England. Sorry, delegation of Australia.
Do we know why the reason why the Titans always want to make the countries to implement ARES 29?
No, but the investigation was held by this journalist. In case you want further information, you can work on with this journalist or make your own investigation regarding this topic. So, delegates, is there any more questions regarding these updates? Seeing none, we are going to delegation of England.
So the country was attacked by a rebellion?
The country was attacked by the armed forces of the civilian rebels in Scotland, Wales, and North Ireland. And
so how many casualties are in this battle?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that question again?
How many casualties come from this battle?
So the people who helped those rebels were the Titans itself because of the use of the ARES 29 implementation regarding.
I will formulate the question. I think you didn't understand. I asked for the casualties of this.
The casualties. I'm sorry, delegate. There have been noticed that there are at least 1,000 casualties of English men.
Wow.
Delegation of Spain.
Yes, is the Commonwealth position about this rebellion known?
The Commonwealth will still supporting the government of England, so the allies remains the same.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, delegates. So we are going to proceed with the protocol. Thank you.
Thank you, Crisis Director. Delegates, the floor is open, but we had a moderated caucus going on. The chair suggests to start a motion of procedure to open another moderated caucus, but with a more relevant topic like the one that we saw on crisis. That being said, delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? Friends?
Motion to start a moderated caucus with the topic of the further implementation of ARES 29.
Could the delegation, no, sorry. Could the delegation repeat it?
Yes.
Or send it through chat?
Yes. Oh, that's the topic.
Ah, okay. Duration?
As much as the chair recommends.
The chair recommends 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Individual speaking time?
45 seconds.
Delegates, we have room for another 2 more motions. The floor is open. Is another motion on the floor? Being no motions on the floor, we will proceed with the voting. Votes in favor? Votes against? The motion clearly passes. Delegate of France, since your delegation was the one who started the caucus, would you like to be first or last?
Last, please.
Okay. Any delegations who wishes to be added to the speakers list, please raise your hand. Spain? Only Spain? Well, Spain, then France. Spain, Egypt, and France. Delegate of Spain, the floor is yours.
First of all, Spain encourages other nations to speak in this caucus and attending the implementation of RS-29. It has become a necessity because there hasn't been an actualization of the status, and the taxes still continue. So Spain asks other countries to accept the implementation of this to stop the attacks. Once the attacks are over, investigation and research will be done to look for a way to counteract without compromising the integrity of people and our militaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Egypt?
Yes, thank you. According to El Confidencial, China is more advanced talking in technology than the USA, and that's why the delegation of Egypt will accept the offer of China, asking for economic help, military access, and more technological materials that can help in the use of new discoveries in Nile River. Sorry.
Thank you. France?
Delegation of France would like to show support to what the delegation of Spain has mentioned. Delegation of France strongly believes that the implementation of RS-29 is now a necessity to the militaries of our countries. The attacks on Spain and the two other countries are still going on, and the delegation of France believes that this is our current, our second current thing that we should be talking about.
Thank you, delegation of France. We have room for more speakers. Any delegation who wishes to speak, please raise your hand. Australia, Germany, and France. China, the floor is yours.
The delegation of China would like to know why countries like France and others continue to encourage the use of RS-29 in military force, if it has already been warned several times by several sources that the use of RS-29 is what the tyrants want. Aren't you supposed to fight against them? I understand you are being attacked and need to implement this for the good of your countries, but the delegation of China thinks we can find another solution.
Delegates, the delegation of China has been sanctioned for their use of first person, so maybe that will make all of you take the protocol seriously. Australia.
The delegation of Australia would like to ask for the countries to wait regarding about the implementation of ARES 29, since the delegation, don't have the knowledge from what are the purpose of the Titans by asking the countries to adopt the ARES 29, and we would like to ask for countries to help our research that the government of Australia is starting to find a better way to fight against the Titans without the need of adding the ARES 29.
Thank you, Delegate. Germany.
The delegation of Germany invites other countries to use the ARES 29 regarding of what China says, because cities are still being destroyed, they are still being attacked, and if the delegation of China is saying that we need to do something else, what will be this? Because it looks like when we find the solution, all the cities that are being attacked will be destroyed.
France.
Delegation of France would like to declare that the ARES 29 being used in the militaries can be controlled, and the use of ARES 29 in the military doesn't have to create chaos if we as a committee don't let the ARES 29 create chaos. We as a committee should start using the ARES 29 in the militaries of our countries and use it responsibly and controlled.
Thank you, Spain. Sorry, France. Spain, the floor is yours.
Yes. Spain encourages the use of ARES 29 not only for military purposes, but also using it as opportunity for research. A controlled environment and investigation of this firm after the attacks would help to take good results. And in case of the repetition of these actions by this terrorist group or something similar, this committee has a way to act about it, and not just to resort to weapons or vague responses like this committee has been doing for the last meetings.
Thank you, Spain. Delegate, we have room for more speakers. Any delegation who wishes to speak, please raise your hand. South Korea. France. Republic of Korea.
The delegation of South Korea agrees with France and Spain on the use of the ARES 29 for the military. However, the Republic is also willing to provide technological services to make a further investigation and even modifying the ARES 29 and creating like a different version, a healthier and safer version for the public use, so that we as a committee can use that same serum but modified in a safer way.
Thank you, Delegate. France.
Delegation of France would like to show its support to the delegation of South Korea. The delegation of France is interested on the idea that South Korea just mentioned. The delegation of France believes that a more safe alternative could be used, and the experimentation is key for this right now.
Thank you. Spain?
Yes.
Delegate, your hand was up. What
No,
happened?
yeah. Spain was looking to participate in the caucus.
Okay. Delegates, we have time for more speakers. Please raise your hand. Spain? Aaron? South Africa? France? Spain, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Spain supports entirely the decision and the suggestions of South Korea and France, and would also like to propose the inclusion of private enterprises on the experimentation and on the research concerning RS-29, being this a solution to the boycott and the demands made from these private enterprises. If as a committee, all the delegations stand together, the crisis will be solved. Thanks.
Thank you, Delegate. Aaron?
Regarding what the delegation of India stated as a solution, the delegation of Iran believes that even if there exists a way to make a known version of serum that is safer for the population, the delegation of Iran believes that the consequences far outweigh the benefits that it will take on the population.
Thank you. South Africa?
The delegation of South Africa would like to state its concern with France and Spain, since how are the delegations sure that the serum will be able to be controlled? The delegation's concern is that the Titans not only wish to expand the use of the serum, but it would also like to have some sort of control over the use of the serum.
Thank you, South Africa. France?
Regarding the concern of delegation of South Africa, delegation of France would like to mention that investigations can be done in order to seek the control and responsible use of the RS-29 within the troops of every country in this committee. As of now, there are still 3 countries being attacked by the Titans. We as a committee should not forget that, and the delegation of France would like to suggest that more countries implement the use of RS-29 in their militaries.
Thank you. Delegate of North Korea.
Well, regarding the actions France, Spain are going to take about the new possible serum, North Korea is against it because they will create only more chaos instead of helping solve the problem right now. And well, about the Titans, North Korea, well, the Titans haven't said anything regarding the left cities. So, well, Pyongyang was one of them, the capital of North Korea. North Korea has sent their power armors, their laser weapons in order to take another time the control. And it hopes that China.
Your time is over.
My apologies.
Don't worry. China?
For the Egyptian delegation, the Chinese delegation will support them financially and militarily if that is what is needed. And also the delegation would like to know if any delegation mentioned anything about the previously mentioned information and questions made by the Chinese delegation.
Thank you, Delegate of China. We have Spain. Yes.
Too quick. No, nothing.
Okay. We have 1 minute exactly. So, final delegate. Spain.
Yeah. Can Spain talk now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well,
Until the vice chair puts you on the speakers list. Yes, delegate of Egypt.
The delegation of Egypt want to be in the. We want to be part of the speakers list.
Delegates, we have like
Yeah.
like 1 minute left, and we have some like difficulties. Why the chair recommends a motion to close the session, and then we will resume the next session with this moderated caucus. So delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? Delegate of Egypt,
Motion procedure.
established.
Motion procedure to close the current session.
Delegates, the delegation of Egypt has started a motion of procedure to close the session. Who seconds the motion? The motion clearly passes. We'll see you here in 10 minutes.
I was about to say some things to the delegates, like in the next session, they should start writing their resolution. So
They fled. They don't want to be here anymore.
I see the delegates that they are struggling with keeping up with the forum. That is something that happens with crisis, and I advised you, I warned you. But
in my opinion, they are not struggling as us at the moment.
Don't send her to a waiting room. Let's see what she needs. Hello, delegate. Is there anything you? Oh, okay. You're doing great, I think. Mariel, I see that you are yes, you're moderating very well. Congratulations. I expect that Diego Rojo is writing all the participations. I am correct? Okay. And yeah, Maria is doing great with Well, delegates, please start turning on your cameras and renaming yourself with the name of your country. Delegation of England, delegation of Iran, and delegation of Japan. Please turn on your cameras.
Delegates now being 4 Mexico time, 5 Canada time. We will proceed now with the roll call. Hope you had a pleasant break. When you hear your delegation's name, please say present and voting. Afghanistan,
Present and voting.
Argentina, Armenia, Australia,
Present voting.
Azerbaijan,
Present and voting.
Belarus, Brazilian Portuguese Confederation,
Present and voting.
Chile, China,
Present and voting.
Colombia, Korea, North Korea, sorry,
Present and voting.
Egypt,
Present and voting.
England, Delegate of England, France,
Present and voting.
Germany,
Present and voting.
India,
Present and voting.
Iran,
Present and voting.
Israel, Italy,
Present and voting.
Japan,
Present and voting.
Kazakhstan, Mexico, Republic of Korea,
Present and voting.
Russian Federation, South Africa,
Present and voting.
Spain,
Present and voting.
Sweden, Syria, Delegate of Syria,
Present and voting.
Turkey, United States. Okay.
Delegates, we have some good news for you. We have received information that all Titans have suddenly retreated from all of the attacking cities. We crisis directors do not know why. Alongside all other countries, we have no reason whatsoever. They have no reason whatsoever and retreated. We also received a video from Fold Corporations, and we will be showing it to the committee right now. It's
To the leaders of our world, Fold Corporations is grateful for your investments in the Ares 29 Super Serum. To maintain company privacy, we will be sending representatives to your respective military bases for the Ares 29 injection process. Moreover, we would like to clarify that although the power of superhuman size, also known as Titan powers, are real, the super terrorist group the Titans never actually existed and is in fact a group of actors we hired. We sincerely hope that you will enjoy Ares 29.
concludes our crisis update. Are there any questions right now. Yes, Spain.
Yes, putting aside the fact that this committee has been played, what can stop this committee from suing the company and suspending all operations from it?
Well, it's up to you delegates to decide on whether to take further action on the corporation itself. However, you delegates should keep in mind that the company still has reserves for the serum itself. It can produce super soldiers on its own. So there is still some precaution to be took when you deal with this company. Does that answer your question, delegate?
Yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Friends.
Sorry, who are the actors?
So there is just a bunch of actors hired by Fold. Their identities were not revealed to us through the video, so we have no idea who the actors are. However, we do know that the superpower of Super Titans are real. Does that answer your question, delegate?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. South Korea.
Do you have information about why did Fold company create this I don't know, scheme?
Well, this plan was set in place because Fold corporations probably wanted to profit from the chaos. So as you can see, the Federation Republic of Germany, as well as France, has decided to purchase the Ares 29 serum. And basically, this whole ploy is for economic gain. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. And a follow-up. What about Mr. Tim Rogers? Was that also fake? A story made up? Made up story, sorry.
Mr. Tim Rogers' story is probably real. We have no evidence whatsoever proving that it is fake.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome, delegate. Is there any more questions on the floor? Afghanistan?
Yeah, do we know where the Fold Corporation is located?
We do know is that they have a branch in Israel as well as a office in the United States. Does that answer your question, delegate?
Yes.
Egypt?
You're telling that Mr. Rogers' story is probably real, or Mr. Rogers, the person, is real?
Mr. Rogers, the person, is probably real. The person is probably real.
And the story?
The stories he posted on his blog, or?
Yeah.
The stories posted on this blog are in fact real. And as you can see, they have some mythological components to them. They are stories that are local to the area. China?
China doesn't know if it misunderstand, but so Ares 29 is like a disease.
Ares 29 is an injection given to a person. So basically, think of it as a serum that you inject into your body. And that serum will change something biologically, which makes you gain superpowers. Okay, we will entertain no more questions anymore since we are running out of time. I pass the time back to the chair.
Thank you, Crisis Director. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? Delegate of Afghanistan.
Sorry, it was an.
Sorry?
It was an accident. I didn't mean to have it in my hand.
Okay, delegate of Syria,
Motion of procedure.
establish.
Motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus of what the chair recommends.
First, we have to open the session.
Yes. Motion of procedure to open the session.
Delegates, the delegation of Syria has started a motion of procedure to open the session. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? Spain?
Yes, procedure motion.
Establish.
Motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus for the topic of what to do about this fraud.
The duration.
With the duration of what the chair recommends.
The chair recommends of 4 minutes with 3 seconds speaking time.
Okay, with 4 minutes and 3 seconds speaking time. Thanks.
What was the topic, delegate?
What to do, well, how to address the fraud of Folk Corporation.
Okay, thank you, delegate. Delegates, the floor is open for another 2 motions. Is there another motion on the floor? Being there no more motions, we'll proceed with the voting. The delegation of Spain start a motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus on the topic, how to address the fraud of Folk Corporation. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. Delegate of Spain, since your delegation was the one who started the motion, do you wish to be first or last?
First, please.
Any other delegates who wishes to speak, please raise your hand. North Korea. India. Afghanistan. Syria. Australia. France. And China. Spain, the floor is yours.
Yes, since all of this was a fraud and as used to sell the serum, Spain Spain calls for an investigation, because even though it was a fraud, the terrorism was still there and there was destruction. So Spain asked for an indemnification to repair damages done by the Titans.
Thank you, delegate. North Korea.
Thank you, moderator. Well, the Folk Corporation fraud was generated crisis. That's why the North Korean delegation demands the United States and Israel to investigate immediately the Folk facilities in order to arrest the people that had the control of the actions that the company can take in
Thank you.
order. Sorry.
Don't worry. India.
Thank you. While it was all a scheme, Mr. Tim Rogers is still missing, and the delegation of India is willing to create a special task force with the purpose of locating him. The delegation of India also encourages other nations to focus on his rescue. Not to mention, Mr. Rogers is a valuable asset and could be targeted as such. Thank you very much.
Thank you, delegation. Afghanistan. Wait.
Yes.
Oh.
No? Okay. The delegation of Afghanistan is doing a call for action to all nations to retrieve the serum from Ford Corporation. Although the delegation should still have precautions since they don't know what mutation or superhumans they may have in their facilities.
Thank you, delegate. Syria.
The delegation of Syria wants to know what other countries like France and other countries allied with France, what they have to say with the weapon against Titans that they created, that in fact was tested and supposedly proven that the weapon will be completely used to kill Titans. Were they collaborating with the Fold company? And even though it was fraud, were they scamming us? Well, yes, thank you.
Thank you. Australia.
The delegation of Australia believes there should be a ban on the organization and compensation have to be done for the countries that were affected by the Titan actions, as well as the delegation claims that the United States and Israel must take the correct actions against the Fall Corp and that the international justice is made against the corporation.
Your time is over. France.
Regarding the concern of the delegation of Syria, no, the France, neither France's allies were part of this scam. However, the delegation of France would like to say that Mr. Rogers could also be a scam from the company, and that delegation of France believes that the money invested in looking for Mr. Rogers should not be invested, should not be further reinvested.
Thank you, delegate. Your time is over. China.
The Chinese delegation would like to ask Germany, Italy, and other European countries, how are they dealing with the economic crisis they are experiencing, since they have not formally accepted the help of any country, nor have they mentioned any strategy to get out of this catastrophe. And regarding the latest news of all corporations, what are Germany and France thinking to do?
Thank you, China. Delegate, we have space for another delegate to speak. Please raise your hand. South Korea. The floor is yours, delegate.
The delegation of South Korea is interested in the delegation of India's proposal and would like to make a sort of alliance with India to seek and find Mr. Tim Rogers' whereabouts.
Thank you, delegate. Since we have no more time for another delegate to proper speak, we will conclude with the moderated caucus. Delegates, the floor is open. Is there any motion on the floor? France?
Point of inquiry.
Establish.
What motion is now in order?
The chair recommends motion to start a unmoderated caucus.
Okay. Delegation of France would like to start an unmoderated caucus.
Yes. The chair recommends 20 minutes. Sorry, 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes.
Delegates, we have a motion of procedure to open a moderated caucus of 15 minutes. there's space for another two motions. Is there any motion on the floor?
Point of parliamentary inquiry.
Established.
How does we extend the time in the unmoderated caucus?
You could ask to start another motion procedure to open a longer unmoderated caucus, but considering the time, 15 minutes is ideal. So.
Okay.
Delegates, being there are no more motions on the floor, we'll proceed with the voting. The delegation of France start a motion of procedure to open an unmoderated caucus for 15 minutes. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. We will open the breakout rooms for you to go.
Hey, delegates, before you go, very important, you need to start writing your directive. I think that it is a public directive in order to give a solution to all the crises that we have seen in the last, I think that it was 3 sessions. So please start working on it. The crisis directors, I will be helping you in any question, and you have to make your directives in the link that that me as moderator, I will pass them by the WhatsApp group. All in order? Any question? Okay, you can go.
Delegates, the breakout rooms are already opened. If you have any trouble getting onto your respective breakout rooms, please tell us.
All good. Delegate of France. Okay. Delegate of South Africa. I think that
no es delegate from South Africa, es USAS, recuérdalo.
Bien tristecito el de England en su propia solución. Yo voy a hacer mi solución. Déjenles mandar
Dijo que él iba a hacer solución porque lo iba a mover para acá para preguntarle de que vas a hacer tú solo.
Sí, por favor.
Tantito el spoiler de la cámara de Rogers, ¿no?
Sí, pero nadie se dio cuenta.
Ya sé.
Wait, delegate of England? Will the delegation be working by themselves? Since they were alone on a breakout room.
A little question.
Yes.
So this is the resolution for everything that has happened now.
There is a kind of resolution of all the crisis updates that the directors of crisis have given us. Yes.
But
allied with any of the current alliances, or write down your own directive as you wish.
So is England or United Kingdom, because everything of Titans was fake except the attack. So
the thing of your delegation now being England is correct. It is now, you are now the delegate of England. That happened.
Yeah, it's because the Titans is fake, but the attack isn't.
Yes,
Well, just I left. I think I'm going to record room 2 and start formulate a solution.
Well,
Pobre pobrecito.
sí, ese también lo hizo así igual en seco. Banda, yo me tengo que ir. Los de economía tienen un desastre ahorita. Ahí vengo. Sí, en 10 minutos.
Ok. No sé, me dio pena haberle quitado su país a Reino Unido. Pobrecito.
Ay, sí, pobrecito, se ve todo tristón.
Sí.
Me dio mucha cosita.
Sí, pero no hay lugar para la tristeza en este comité. ¿Y qué onda? ¿Cómo lo han visto? Ya honestamente, Agnes y yo ya nos dimos por vencido. Por el día de hoy no vamos a dar otra update más que las palabras de Santi y ya.
Pues está medio aburridón, pero pues ahí, no sé. Como que se están de que quedando en círculos, no llegan a nada.
Es que ese es el chiste, o sea, por eso yo decía que si hacíamos moderados iban a ocurrir más cosas porque iban a solucionar lo que traían. Pero Cepillo, pues al parecer no lo veía de esa forma. No, es que la verdad sí, la verdad acá en sí estamos saturados. Ya llevamos 60 notas recibidas.
Pero ¿por qué no las aceptan?
Mira, algunas son porque son muy complicadas de ponerlas en cuestión y mover todo la dinámica del foro.
Y la historia.
O sea, sí se pueden aceptar, sí son lógicas, pero pues eso, o sea, afectaría tanto a los demás, porque, o sea, de que aceptamos una, por ejemplo, supongamos, por decir una cosa, México puede ser la sede para el Mundial de Fútbol, por decir alguna cosa vaga. Alguien más dice, ¿sabes qué? Yo también quiero ser la sede del Mundial de Fútbol. No la podemos aceptar porque ya le dijimos sí a alguien más y no al otro.
Y de plano no hay o sea, no hay que les puedan aceptar. O sea, de plano todas están inaceptables.
No. O sea, lo que no aceptamos son mínimas, las que no aceptamos. Porque están diciendo varios eso. ¿O qué han visto ustedes? María, Diego, ¿qué han visto ustedes de que digan los delegados?
Pues fíjate que ya no pusieron nada no nos pusieron nada por PRI.
Sí, ya nadie nos escribió.
Sí, ya se aburrieron también.
¿Cómo que les escribieron a ustedes?
No, algo así ya. No, cero.
Tipo, yo le estaba diciendo a Sebastián que hay apoyo, solo falta talento, porque como que los delegados se van, o sea, como dijeron, en círculos. Tipo, ahorita que se empezaron a cuestionar de que qué es real.
Claro.
O sea, mande. Pero pues sí, podría estar peor.
La verdad, en mi opinión, o sea, sí son muy buenos delegados y todo, pero sí, pero no sé, como que menos los de Tech, los de Campus Laguna, pues tienen la dificultad del protocolo, ¿no? Que están acostumbrados al protocolo de acá de Laguna y todo eso. Y aparte, o sea, el problema, por ejemplo, que yo estoy sintiendo es que como les mandamos muchas crisis, ¿no? Pero las intentan resolver y ya viene otra. Por eso yo digo, o sea, por eso yo decía lo del inmoderado, pero pues sí. Cepillo pues estuvo en desacuerdo con ello.
Si lo queremos ver del lado positivo, al menos no son solo dos que están hablando. O sea, si hay varios que se mueven, pues. Ay.
Claro. Sinceramente también, Agnes y yo dejamos de echarle ganas cuando ya recibíamos un chingo y un chingo. Entonces, pues, bueno, las de mañana ya son preparadas, o sea, son cosas que ya tenemos de semanas. Entonces, con suerte lo de mañana sí animo un poco más al comité. Pero bueno, Bueno, como sabrán, pues Santi quiere dar unas palabras aquí en el comité. Lo hace como a las 4:55, más o menos. Entonces, a qué hora va a acabar el inmoderado?
Le quedan 7 minutos.
5 minutos. Entonces acaba a las 4:40, ¿no? Ujú, perdón, sí, 4:40.
Pero nos vamos a checar.
¿Dónde?
Que si los vamos a checar.
Así como pública, ¿te refieres de que checaras no te creas, sí se hace, ya me acordé.
No, o sea, ahorita de que, hola, ¿cómo están? ¿Van bien?
Ok,
¿Dudas?
ya, sí, claro. Sí, entren si gustan.
Okay.
When the directives are reviewed. However, delegation of France believes that this can be answered by whoever is assigned to read the directive.
Now look, let's
So you
solve this.
so you think you just let to the one who reads to say a quantity?
No, that basically the quantity cannot be specified because we as a committee do not know how much specifically money the European Union needs.
So you're gonna
However,
say they give us money. We don't know how much, but they give us money, and that's it. Wow.
well, how this works is that China will progressively give money as China decides to do so. For example, by helping rebuild the infrastructure that was damaged in the European Union, China may decide that it's enough for the economic regret.
Let me ask this.
Spain considers that England should chill out a little bit and think, breathe. Okay. Okay. And
just my question.
Spain,
China agrees with Spain.
But it considers that England has a valid point. However, France has the reason in saying that there's no specific time or amount of money that is needed. So let's do this.
That be $1 and $1.
Spain suggests to put a reference point in a percentage of the GDP of China. That will be later considered as the matters get better or worse depending of the crisis. Is that answer okay?
Yeah, that sounds like a fair idea.
Thanks.
Or we can just ask our crisis directors that are here in the breakout room if we really need to put the amount of money China is going to give to the European Union.
Hey delegates, so our advice is to put an exact amount into it because the more information you can give on the directive, the more plausible and persuasive it would be. So we do recommend giving it an actual value. However, if you cannot, just give us an estimation. It would be fine.
Also,
Okay.
a question. How is supposed China to fix the economic crisis by its own? Because by this far, the delegation of South Korea has only heard China offering money. The delegation of South Korea doesn't believe that a country alone can solve the economic status of the whole European Union.
Well, go ahead,
Okay.
Spain.
Thanks. Well, the boycott had very specific demands. So a strategy that Spain was thinking was to reintegrate the private enterprises that were responsible of the boycott to the investigation of the serum, so that their complaints are met and there is no
Agnes, the resolution number 5 asked if the attack like that was done by the actors was real. Like, was the damage done? You're mute.
Thank you. The attacks are real.
Okay, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Santiago, hey, you ready?
Hey, I'm just learning my speech.
Good luck with that, okay? Break a leg.
Hey, guys, how many time is left in the Unmath?
6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Sorry, I was my audio was muted. Could you repeat, please?
6 minutes and 30 seconds.
Oh, there's a lot of time. Santiago, they finish in SCAP.
Should I go to escape in the meantime?
No, they finished.
If you want.
Okay, but like just make sure they stay there so we can talk
Yes.
with them.
Yeah. They are here. Hey, one thing, could you make me a co-host, please? Mariel,
Yes, wait.
thank you.
So, Mariel, cuando los delegados, ¿sí están ahí, Mariel, o no?
Sí.
Ok, perfecto. Cuando los delegados lleguen, vas a decirle, antes de finalizar, un mensaje, o lo hacemos después de que finalice la sesión. O sea, no, antes de que finalice. Ok. Antes de que finalice, vas a decir, tenemos un mensaje importante del secretario de las Naciones Unidas. No de el secretario general. Sí, de las Naciones Unidas.
Eso les iba a preguntar, de que si lo introduceo.
Sí, tú puedes introducirlo. Diré, antes de finalizar, un mensaje del secretario general de las Naciones Unidas. O sea, no del Global Summit, de las Naciones Unidas.
Ok.
Y ya, pues ocurre la situación. And yeah, I'm just going, when Santi starts talking, you're going to spotlight him, like, yeah, you know, oh. Yeah, like that.
I only have to spell like Santi, right? Like I don't need to change anything.
No,
Doing-
it's only Santi.
All right, okay.
Well, we'll see you in 3 minutes.
Take a look, everybody.
Delegates, please turn on your cameras. Delegates, the time for the unmoderated caucus is over, but before we go, we have a message from the Secretary General, the UN Secretary General, Santiago Flores.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, delegates. It's me, Santiago Flores, Secretary General of the United Nations. I am very proud of you. You are saving the world from total destruction. I know there have been certain mishaps like Tim Rogers and the Titans, but you guys you guys are fulfilling the objectives of the United Nations. I hope we can meet soon to rest in peace.
Are you okay?
So delegates, it appears we have a crisis. We are uncertain of the situation or what happened on screen just now, but I am sure that you guys will come up with a solution to it, right?
Yes.
Remember, he's the Secretary General of the UN. You guys have to do something or the UN falls apart.
Okay. Spain proposes
Spain?
task force.
It is not in order.
It is not in
Okay.
order.
Anyway, delegates, the time for this session is over. Delegates, the floor is open. Are there any motions on the floor? Italy?
Yeah, motion of procedure to close the session.
Delegates, the delegation of Italy has started a motion of procedure to close the session. Votes in favor? Against? The motion clearly passes. We'll see you tomorrow, delegates. Have a nice evening.
Delegate of Brazil, do you have a question? Very good.